do cast a wide net in the springtime, particularly because, sometimes you feel when you're recruiting at this time of year, you're almost stringing through a fire hose. And then you want to streamline that down where you get it back to something that's more manageable. But right now, being that Oregon has been a national brand, we feel like we have the ability to go out there and recruit people across the entire country. We're going to spread ourselves out a little bit. And the camps that we've been to and where we're going to go or whatnot. But it's extremely helpful. I think in the future, we'd like to plan a patent camp at our place, which I think would be really good for development, especially for the big guys up front. You don't see a ton of patent camps for the big guys. I almost feel like those guys are neglected, right? You see a lot of 7-on-7s and all the skill guys are taken care of. It's time for maybe a big guy 7-on-7. Maybe we could do something like that. But either way, it's the strategy has worked out for us well. We get to evaluate more. We get to assess a little bit more accurately and spend time around the guys that we're targeting. So that being said, it's been great. We still have plenty of places to go to, all while hosting unofficial visitors and hosting official visitors as well, which we have had last week, even the week before that. We have actually tonight, the next couple of days, through the beginning of the weekend, and then next weekend also. So it's going to be nonstop.
You're really peppering Southern California next weekend. Can you say who's going to the Lutheran and Laverne and Redlands? Because they're your exclusive all 3 days.
All of us will be out. We'll all be out on the West Coast in California. We are, the ones that are the host of the camp itself. So we do have senior graduation for our athletes. Not only senior graduation, but student athlete graduation ceremonies on Sunday. So I will be attending that. But aside from that, we'll be all over the place out there in Southern Cal. All while trying to take care of business back here at home, trying to make sure that everything is in place, and then catching those birds all over the place, planes, trains, and automobiles during this time of year.
Saw that Jordan Scott squatting over 600 pounds. Kayvon Thibodeau joined the 500 club.
Mm-hmm.
Which duck has been the most surprising and maybe one of the top in the weight room?
Well, I think the most important thing is that, last year at this time, we only had, I believe it was 29 guys that could put 500 pounds on the rack and get down to proper depth and come out of it with power and with strength. And this year we have over 50 guys that can do that, and then some guys that have even higher numbers. Are the numbers important? No, it's not that. It's the fact that now we're just developing. Lower body power and explosiveness is certainly extremely important, not only for the guys up front, but for every position. And it's something that, it's always been a big focal point of the programs that we've been around, to make sure that we develop power and strength while never, ever compromising speed. So it's extremely important. I think the numbers regarding the power clean, our vertical jumps, our 40, our speed development program, our speed school, so to speak, that we have, I think those numbers are even more impressive. And it's, your season's directly related to what you do in the off season. And the off season has been exactly what we want it to be. We've won the off season portion of it. And football does come and go in phases, and now it's the time for the next phase. This is final exam phase. Go home for a week and then come right back into full swing summer conditioning with the freshmen. And then it's on us. It's on us right now, and the guys understand that we cannot skip a single step.
If you had to give somebody a shout out, who would you give?
I would give the seniors, because they have seen just about everything in their career here, particularly the fifth-year guys. They've seen a lot, and they've had some ups and downs, and everything now is trending up. And we want to make it special, obviously, for the entire team, the program, the fans, and everybody. But when you're a senior and it's your last go around, things kind of mean that much more. You reflect that much more upon your time here, and you're willing to do just about anything to make sure that you end things the way you want them to end. So shout out to the seniors for doing a great job leading that way.
You mentioned the remainder of the 2019 class. What do you expect?
We had 11 early enrollees, and for us it's kind of different, right? You have your January enrollees, you have your April enrollees, so all of a sudden you've got to see 11 of those guys, and now we expect the next 17 to show up here on June 22nd, 23rd, get their medical stuff done, be able to check into the dorms, say bye to mom and dad, which I'm sure they'll hang around all weekend, and we encourage them to. We want to be around their sons as much as they can and start their process as well, knowing that it's a very short processor. They have about 4.5 weeks to prepare for their first collegiate season. They have 4.5 weeks to do a great job in the classroom, learn the systems, get in the best shape they can, attack every phase of the process we have set for them before a small break, before we start fall camp. So Yeah, they're geared up, ready to go. They know that they got to come in great shape, so they've been training hard. It's something that we keep close tabs on as to how guys are doing in school, how they're working out, who they're working out with, making sure they have our strength and conditioning program so they could go ahead and follow those to suit, so they can come in at the best, giving themselves the best opportunity they possibly can to be a contributor.
Can you clarify?
You guys continue to recruit really big-bodied offensive linemen. What sort of workout program or kind of goal do you have for them before they get here, or before you actually get them fully under your wraps?
Well, we want guys that either have the size and are really athletic, or guys that have great size and growth potential. So we go both ways, because there are some guys that are a little bit leaner that can put on that size, that mass, and still be explosive and athletic. And then you have some guys that are just really massive individuals. I think of Stephen Jones and Panay Sewell as guys that already came in with that, but were really explosive and can run really well. If you would watch these guys run during conditioning, you'd be like, wow, how does a guy do that? Well, the strength conditioning department, that's part of our deal. We develop these guys. We want these guys to run as if they're 300 pounds flat. Then you look at a Brady Aiello, right, comes in around 260, and he builds himself up to 310 pounds. So we go both ways. We've just been, it just so happens that we have clicked on some of the guys that already had that size and that mass. And I forget the original question, but the strength and conditioning aspect, the dieting part of it is huge. Example, Salah came in, gosh, I don't want to completely be off on this. I think he was about 365 pounds. And his first couple of attempts of running down the field, I almost had to call 3 timeouts, just to get the drill finished. That guy is 322 pounds right now, and he runs like a deer, and he's powerful, and he's explosive, and he attacks the workouts. He's changed his body, he's changed his entire demeanor, and now, it's what our old coach used to say to me all the time is football really rewards those that are in really great shape, and that's what's happening right now. Him, Panay's probably came in at 368 as well. He's at the 335. That's a great weight for him. Some guys could do it at 340, and some guys have to do it at 300. And it's our job to try to find, their maximum, output capabilities, body weight. And it has to do with body comp. It has to do with how they can move, how much they can sustain that power for how long. So a lot goes into that.
Can you clarify, Mace Flynn is just, I know there's a conversation of what he's going to take an FBS mission. There's a conversation after his freshman season, that he's coming off an injury and put on some weight. So just where does he stand by way of, is he expected to enroll, and is he still talking about after his freshman season to do this? Or?
Yeah, he's enrolling. He'll be here, again on the 22nd with the rest of the guys. And I think anytime you're talking about someone and their faith and whatnot, you just take it year by year, and you make sure there's clarity as to the next step. So that's something we'll discuss as time goes on. But yeah, he'll be here and he'll be ready to go, and he looks great now. Mace is naturally a very big guy. So was he a little bit heavier? Yeah, but not by much. He's a great linebacker. We expect to be an instant impact guy with us.
2 positions where there's a little bit of either a lack of depth or a need in the following year. Are you looking to pursue any grad transfers or sit out transfers for the other one? Or grad transfers secondary role because lack of depth in those positions?
Right. Well, the grad transfer market is something that we're always going to keep an eye on. And we actually monitor it, we grade it, we evaluate it, we assess it, and it's got to be the right fit. I feel like we did a really good job with, guys like Dallas and guys like Jawan. Even Kano last year before Kano got hurt. Kano was a great contributor. Kano did a really good job on our football team. Made some really big plays before the injury. So, but it's a market that it's become such a big deal. It's become such a market that you're going to have to do that. Even if you have depth at that position. If you can upgrade your roster through the grad transfer market or just through the transfer portal, we're going to always look at it, and we're going to see it as a positive, not a negative.
How's Brock Martin doing?
He's doing great. He's been full. That last week of spring ball, he participated in drills. He took some very light one-on-one work, but he was ready to do it. He's taken part in every single workout, done every single rep. Hasn't had to be modified much at all. We did it precautionary early in the workouts, but not at all lately. He looks great. He's 320 pounds, and Throck. Throck is the Swiss Army knife will be ready. He's ready to roll.
You hired Nick Costa as a consultant. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about sort of how do you see him? Is it similar to what you had last year? He's a younger guy. How did you kind of get on his radar? Obviously Oregon, but before you were there, how did you get on his radar, and what do you see his role in working with the offense?
Right, he's hired as a senior offensive analyst is his actual title. I met Nate, when was it? 3 years ago while I was in Tuscaloosa, and he came in for an interview for a very similar position. Super bright guy. Extremely just high football IQ, has been in a couple different systems, seen a couple different systems, has done some coaching as well over at IMG. A very well-respected guy, and a guy that I think without question can help us offensively in a couple different areas. So we wanted him at Alabama. He said no. I know we tried to convince him, but he's certainly a sharp guy, and I think nowadays with having the advantage of being able to hire analysts, anytime you can get quality people with high football IQs that could bring something to the table, you want to do that, and we're certainly not going to hesitate to do so.
So you wanted to hire him at Alabama, but he
yeah, well, when I say me, I say, the staff over there, our head football coach. I know we're looking at about 3 or 4 different people, but the analyst position last year, and we expect the same this year, has been very impactful. We want to do it. We want to make sure we do it the right way and get the right people. It's a very important position because these guys are in there. For example, we're out here golfing and really recruiting all day, right? You're going to see these guys on their phones. But the analysts are back home and they're breaking down our opponents. They're doing our self-scout reports. Very analytical, type of responsibility. So when they present reports, they have to know each and every part of that report like the back of their hand. So it's very important data because it certainly helps us make adjustments and move forward.
Coach, we talked about the transfer portal, but how has your job changed since that's become so prominent? Do you have to look just as much internally as you do externally?
Honestly, if you have to change because there's a transfer portal, you're probably not doing it right to begin with. I say that just very openly and very honestly. I think if you have to change what you are because you're afraid of an adjustment, I think that's a problem. So we don't change. We are what we are 24/7, 365. We do things the right way. We work extremely hard. We're demanding but not demeaning. We take care of our players, but we also make sure that we challenge them and push them to reach the highest potential. And no one could ever be upset with that. And also have to realize that, it's different strokes, different folks, right? Different fits sometimes. And I don't think anyone could be angry or upset with that, okay? I know some of the issues it causes. I've read a lot of stories. I've seen all kinds of stuff. I get it. To me, it's like where operations go as regularly planned. We're not changing anything we're doing. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't fit, if someone doesn't fit in your program, do your best to help them find a place that does fit. We've all been 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, right? But you were perfect, right? You did everything exactly right. So, you were perfect, right? Why are you laughing? It's
Would be the word I use.
right. You just have to find whatever fits a certain prospect best, and hopefully, where I think it's the best thing that we can do in terms of the transfer portal is do the work on the front ends, right? A transfer portal to me is almost like a remedy on the back end if things don't work out well. Let's allow ourselves more time on the front end to find what fits. Let's see what relationships are real. Let's build the relationships so there's real. Let's have a clear understanding of how it's going to work, because if that's the case, if the foundation is trust and truth and honesty, then I think you'll be seeing less and less use of the transfer portal, unless there's a true playing time issue, and that is something that, that does happen.
I was at the Oregon Football Women's Clinic. It was one of the best things I've been to. I've seen that Herbert's out in the community, Javon Johnson. When it comes to Ducks in the community, what are you most proud of?
That we're in there, that it's real. There's no head faking. There's no trying to put on a show. I'm glad you were there. I'm glad you got to see it. That was an intimidating room now, because there were some fired up, women in there ready to get on a football right away, and the energy you could feel them coming up the elevator now. They want to get into football. They want to talk about drills. They want to talk about film.
Putting everybody on the spot.
They were, and I thought that was awesome, and it's something that we want to grow more and more. We want that completely filled up, even out into the hallway, because it's a great opportunity not only for the community, but there's several parents, moms, that their sons have gone or will go through that, or just want a better understanding as a fan, as a supporter. And I think we counted, we're 55, 58 guys that volunteered to go out there and help. We didn't make that a mandatory thing for our players. And I thought that was awesome. And the ones that couldn't because of obligation or whatnot, they wish they would have, because they saw the videos and made it fun. So proud of the fact that they choose to be a part of the community and choose to give back, because if it's forced, it's not the same. So I think that's the part that our players are made of the right stuff on the inside, and that's the part that we're most proud of.
Herbert's doing the Manning Academy. There's a bunch of other quarterback stuff and private QB coaches out there. Will he do either the Elite 11 as a counselor, or is he going to work with any private coaches before camp starts?
He will do the Manning camp, and we outsource, and we do some things, especially with our senior players, particularly that position. We keep the information in-house and private. You know, we don't get it out there, but we're certainly doing some things to not only enhance him, but a lot of other guys on our football team.
You set on the date for day one of fall camp yet?
We have. I should know that.
Sometime
It's
August?
29 days out, right? And so, yeah, I know that. I know exactly. Like I could see the calendar. You know, we color code everything. I mean, it looks like my son's like coloring book at a restaurant. It's all over the place, but I'll get that to you right away. It's been set in stone for. I should know that. I feel terrible that I don't know that.
Sometime
but,
early August.
you know, everybody has the same amount of days now. You got the 29 days out. You got to start up, and you cannot cram 45 days into 29. You got to be smart. You got to be sharp. That's what the summer for is as well. Got to make sure that your guys are really, they're on point. And I do believe the way summers are structured now, with the way these guys can lift, run, and kind of conduct their own practices, you should give yourself a pretty good chance to be on point once you start camp. Because when you walk into camp, you know, you still have to progress the team. You can't jump into full throttle football and have 12 injuries and expect to be a good football team on opening day. So everything has been very meticulously calculated and choreographed so that we can, or organized I should say, so that we can have a very successful fall camp.
One 2020 recruiting question for you, just kind of by numbers strictly. What's your kind of needs by position as far as how many you're looking at, just position by position? Like, so are you looking at 1 or 2 quarterbacks, 1 or 2 running backs,
Yeah.
obviously 5 O-linemen, but can you break down just strictly numbers, what you're looking for?
Phew, that's giving up a lot. I think if I do that, I think I'm giving
Just
away our
giving you
strategy
wiggle
to the rest of our competitors out there. So I don't want to do that. I don't. But I think at the end of the day, you know, you have an 85-man roster, and you do have certain numbers at each position. You got to get to those numbers. You got to make sure that if it's a year like this year where we lose so many linemen, that you have to have linemen that are mature enough to come in and contribute right away. We do have some really good young ones. There's just, you know, there's a big gap between the seniors, and then there's about 2 years there where, you know, recruiting, there's a hole there, right? There's a hole, and those are things you want to avoid. That's why you make sure that when you're out assessing and evaluating, you got to have guys that are willing to come on in, do the work, and have the capabilities of helping you right away. But it's that's a little bit of a, you know, private formula. You're asking the tough questions today, man. Can you golf for me instead, and I'll get to the answers?
What's the best round of golf? Best round of golf you ever shot?
Come on, that's awful. I mean, number one, I never shot a full round of golf. I don't. I usually drive, and we're on the phone and probably doing some recruiting calls, something of that nature. I think in all these scrambles I played, and what is it now, year 3? I think, what is it, 18 holes? I think they've used one of my shots in all the scrambles. So that goes to show you how poorly I do hit the ball. So hopefully you guys will station me today at one of the putting greens or something like that, so I could help out there a little bit more. But you're going to see overall, I'm not the worst. Our entire staff is full of really bad golfers. And they're going to show that today. They're going to show it today. So if someone happens to catch it on video, hey, it's on them, you know. But if they were really good at golf, there might be something wrong there too. We probably aren't putting the amount of time we need to in a football. But no, proud of these guys. And you know, to me, it's important to get them in front of all the support people that are here today, because they do so much, and they don't get much of a chance to, you know, get in front of the microphone and talk about the things they do. But I need to do a better job emphasizing how hard they work and how good of a job they do, because you know, sometimes you don't realize how much has had to be built and how much more still has to be built. You know, things aren't turnkey operations nowadays, right? They require true building, and some that you must build to last. There is no hocus pocus. There is no, how would you say, just head faking and exactly that. It's got to be real, and we play real good teams, and we have a real tough road schedule as well. And to make everything work, it's going to require every ounce of all these guys and then some, and myself. And that's the way it's going to be. So